Hey guys, it's Practical Gaming, and to celebrate the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake, I thought I'd do a quick tricks and tips video on the game and on RPGs in general. Now I got the game early and I'm about 20 plus hours into it, so I think I've got a good idea of what you should do if you're just starting out. Some of you are used to the genre, so this is nothing new, but some of you aren't and are looking for some help, and that's what this video is for. I may be doing a full review of the game in a later video as well, so leave a comment if that's what you want to see. But for now, let's get into it. Search everywhere, and I mean everywhere. Sounds simple, but hear me out. Now I've played a lot of RPGs, and one thing I found in common in a lot of them is that there's a lot of space and cool things to look at, but also a lot of blind alleys, and Final Fantasy VII is no exception. They love to tease you with many diverging paths and routes that make you think, there could be something there, and you can't take the risk of missing out. Especially in Sector 6, which is a maze of alleyways and stairs and pathways, so a lot of the time you end up walking into every inch of the map hoping to find something. Materia, potions, ether, Moogle medals, and even Phoenix Downs could all be hidden somewhere along these paths, and you can't take the risk of not going for them because once you leave, you can't go back. The game does kind of give you a heads up to say you've missed something, which is weirdly generous considering most RPG games let you live and die by your decision. It's all worth it though, because this way you'll never not be stocked up on health, and you can spare your gil for weapons, armor and accessories. It may make your playthrough a tiny bit longer and slightly more tedious, but if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, then search every nook and cranny, you're gonna need it. Use the tactical mode as much as you can. Final Fantasy VII comes with both the active mode, which is used in a lot more modern RPGs, and the tactical mode, which slows down the play for you to plan your attack. Whichever you choose is your preference, but if you're just starting out, I would suggest the tactical mode. Even veteran RPG gamers prefer tactical mode, as it's basically how RPG games back then used to be played. It gives you time to think about your moves and cue a sequence of attacks to down your opponents. This makes it easier to stagger your enemies and set up combos whilst monitoring your teammates. Though if you get hit once it's queued, they cancel out, so try to do it when it's safe to attack or if you're in a safe spot. This is also a good time to queue abilities that stagger your opponents quickly and hit their weak points to make the battle a lot easier, and you can get a feel for which moves work for which opponent. There is a quick menu available, but will only cover a max of 4 situations, so I don't think it's entirely necessary. Slow it down, take your time, and you'll make your playthrough a lot easier. Assess, summon, boost, and steal. There are a lot of materia to choose from, but in my experience, I found that these 4 materia are a must-have in your arsenal. The assess materia analyzes your opponent's weak points and tells you how to stagger them. This is real useful so that you don't waste your time on a worthless strategy. The ATB boost materia doubles your ATB when activated, which means you can have more options in battle if you're in a pinch. The steal materia is self-explanatory. You can steal items, which is fairly standard. However, sometimes after using the assess materia, you can see special weapons that you can steal that you can't get any other way, so it's actually worth having. And of course, the summon materia is very important, as it lets you summon powerful help to take on your enemy. It uses your ATB to do moves, but it certainly packs a punch, and when time runs out, it deals 1 lethal blow, which is always handy. With that in mind, I highly recommend doing as many VR missions with Chadley as possible. In order to get more summons, you have to first defeat them in order for Chadley to get enough data to create the materia for you. They can be tough, and if you're not prepared, it will take you quite a while, but the reward in the end is well worth the task. Obviously there are other materia you can use as well with these, but if you get these 4 materia in your loadout, then you can't go wrong. Remember to upgrade all your weapons. It's common in RPGs to get a weapon, and once you find a better one, just scrap it and sell the old one. But in FF7, it's actually better to keep all your weapons for 2 reasons. The first is that the upgrade system doesn't just apply to your characters, but also the weapons, and you can use AP in the skill tree for all the weapons you have on hand. The skill trees are all different, so you can tailor different weapons tied with materia to your style. And the second reason is the abilities that come with it. Each weapon has an ability with a proficiency. If you max out the proficiency, then you can use that ability regardless of the weapon equipped. More abilities and more weapons means more options and more ways in which you can win. You may have to suffer a bit in between, but once you reach max proficiency, it's all worth it. So stock up and upgrade as much as you can if you want to have a much easier playthrough. Switch characters and switch them often. A lot of people when playing RPGs tend to stick to the playing as the main character and the rest of the squad back me up, which is fine, it's normally a very valid strategy. But in this game, it seems like it's trying everything to stop that from happening. There are multiple situations with which you can't get out because they've trapped you in a corner or they decided to target you. So switch characters and switch often to avoid this situation. This also makes it easier to face enemies who can only be hit from behind, or enemies that switch between being immune to physical and magical attacks. This also makes it easier to build up your ATB for your allies, because while they do it themselves, it can be a bit slow. If you're really proficient, you can give them all orders, but you can't time orders for them to dodge or block as easily, so honestly, it's best for you to do it yourself. Barrier, Cure and Raise. Personally, I don't like using spells that much in RPGs. I prefer close combat and using swords and weapons, but there comes a time where you have no choice and you have to suck it up. So I advise using spells wherever you can, but especially defensive spells, as I can find they make the difference in close fights. Barrier, healing and revival material are the most important of your defensive options. Healing and revival are self-explanatory, they heal and revive your team while saving your items for other scenarios. However, barrier is very important as it halves the physical damage you take for a period of time, and if you level up, you can halve the magical damage you take as well, which is so needed in big fights and especially when fighting summons. If you add attributes to your weapons that prolong buffs on your character, then it's a truly powerful combination. Whether you use spells a lot or not is up to you, but if you do use them a lot, I'd advise using these three. And the last one is side quest. For me, a good RPG is not complete without side quests you can delve into and get cool items and weapons as a reward. There are a lot to get through and a lot of challenges to do, so I advise doing as many as possible because, as I said before, once you leave, you can't go back. There's plenty to choose from, such as the squat competitions, pull-up competitions and the whack-a-mole game, which all give you rewards as well as a PS4 trophy. Also, since you're a merc, you'll have to help the townsfolk of each sector with their own problems. Most are fairly standard and involve fighting or just searching for people, but towards the end you have full access to every area, so it can be very difficult to get them all done. This won't necessarily help you directly in the game, but it's nice to have a change of pace and get to know Midgar a bit more before you leave it for good. If you want to explore Midgar, get to know its residents and get some gil here and there, then I recommend doing as many side quests as you possibly can. Well, that's it from me. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, and make sure to leave a comment down below about what you guys thought about these tips and tricks and what you guys thought about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.